My friends, we have a problem. And we have a problem that is more than just social media. It is a disconnect between humans and reality. In this viral video, this young woman named Good Luck Carly on TikTok was shocked to find, in fact, you can eat fruit from a tree. Seriously. I know for many of you who watch a show like this, you come from a particular background. That is, you're more likely to be inquisitive, curious, and to solve your own problems. More likely, not absolutely. And this means most of you are aware, and more aware than I, of what you can eat outside. Now, of course, when I was little, we had a family garden and things like that, so we knew you could eat fruits and things like that. But there are a lot of people who are growing up in a mechanized reality where they don't understand how to eat. My question then becomes to this, my friends. Facing an absolute catastrophe, a breakdown to the economy, what happens to these people? Now, I'll tell you, it's going to be violent and dangerous. These people may bend the knee to dictators who promise to show them the ways of eating food, or they may just rob people and take it because they don't know how to get it themselves. But let me slow down before we're talking about the apocalypse. Let me play for you this video so you can hear for yourself. Here you go.
I can't be the only person on the planet that didn't know that you can just pick a piece of fruit off of a tree and eat it.
Oh. Please think of this statement. Think about what you just said. Lady, I'm sorry, okay? But understand this. You are an obese woman. I don't mean that to be mean, but by worldly standards, you are fat. Okay, hold on. Slow down, slow down. I am not trying to insult her here. Please, calm down. I'm pointing out that by worldly standards, this woman is well fed, above average, larger weight. She doesn't even know where food comes from. The abject luxury of the let them eat cake. It's so remarkable. As people around the world starve, are made of skin and bone, but overwhelmingly, I'd say 99.9% of the planet understands where food comes from. You have to be a special kind of elite, wealthy privilege to not understand where food comes from while also being overweight. Again, Carly, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to insult you for being fat. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you look at most other countries, on average, you and most Americans weigh more than they do. You may feel bad that I am pointing this out, and it is humorous to many of us. But please, I'm not trying to make you feel bad or be mean. I need to point out a shocking thing that is happening in this country to our young people. Let me play more of the video.
I had a friend come over a few weeks ago, and she was like, Carly, why do you have a bag of lemons in your fridge? And I said, oh, well, I use lemons in my cooking a lot, and sometimes I put them in my sparkling water. And she was just like, no, but why do you have a bag of lemons from the store? And I said, oh, well, sometimes I cook with them, and I also put them in. And she said, no, you have a lemon tree outside. And I said, okay. And she said, so why do you buy lemons? And I said, because I cook with them. And she said, Carly, you have a lemon tree. You just pick the lemons off the tree and you put them in your food or in your sparkling water. And I said, don't you have to do something to them? And she said, what do you mean? And I said, you don't have to do anything to the lemons? And she was pretty upset, which I guess I am one of the very few people. I didn't think that I was one of the very few people, but maybe I am one of the very few people that didn't know that there is nothing that you have to do to a lemon before you eat it from a tree. You can just take it off the tree. Am I the only person? I'm 28, for reference. Am I the only person?
So 28 is the bottom end of millennial. I want to stress this again. I am not calling her disgustingly fat or trying to insult her. But yes, she has much fat on her body. That was the point I was trying to make. I'm trying not to be offensive. Okay, calm down, angry leftists. I respect her for making this video and pointing this thing out. So the question then becomes, how do we have a generation of people who don't know how to make money, don't know how to produce value, don't know how to build, don't know how to do any trades, don't even know, heavens, that food grows? Wow, it's so crazy. You know, out here in West Virginia, we're in the tri-state actually, so it's a mix between West Virginia and Maryland. But almost all of our operations has now relocated to West Virginia, which is awesome. The new studio is basically done. We just got a couple more weeks for skate park construction, and then the new Freedomistan facility will be complete. It is crazy. I'm excited. But out here, In Western Maryland and in West Virginia, we humans understand where food comes from. It's the wildest thing. People in cities are so detached from reality, perhaps because of bad education, because of intentional political manipulation to keep their serf indentured servitude class from revolting. I don't know. They don't know this. And it's not just this woman. You know, there's no reason to single her out. It's only because she made the video that she's being singled out. But I know a lot of people. We've brought people up to the property here. We call it the Cast Castle. It's just, I don't know. It's a gag name or whatever. It's a big house, studio. And so let's go through it. In the beginning of the year, we start to get, in the fall and the spring, it's awesome. We get chives everywhere because chives will grow when the grass won't. So as the weather starts warming, the grass has yet to begin growing. Chives already are growing. Forest onion, we call it. Holy crap. So delicious. Okay. You go outside. You got to get the good ones because you can get bad ones. They're kind of grassy tasting, but you pull a big, you just rip them out. They grow back and the tips will brown or whatever, but you grow them out. Give them a nice little sniff. Chives. Delicious. We chop them up, mix them into the beef. We made burgers. I love it. Now, the beef, of course, comes from the farm down the street where they actually do their own butchering. Yes, right. There's cows everywhere. The cows eat grass, get big, and they also have feed and stuff like that. And then the cow is killed and you eat its muscles. There's another viral video where a bunch of Gen Z people were like, wait, meat is muscles? I thought meat was meat. What do you think you're eating? You're eating the muscles. There's organ meat too. Some people like eating organ meat. They say it's healthy. Old traditions were, if you were having a problem with your liver or your kidneys, you eat the kidneys of an animal. Why? Well, because what you're missing may be in those kidneys. I mean, it's clever, isn't it? Not always perfect. But so we have chives, they pop up, and then we start to get into, I think the first thing we start to get is the berries. The pears, we have a pear tree, we have a couple apple trees. Those take a long time to grow. So you'll start to see them grow after spring. There's flowering, and then the pollination happens, and then the fruits start to grow. But we get a lot of berries, and my favorite time of year is wineberry season. It's an invasive Chinese berry, but they're everywhere. And it's the weirdest thing to me because, even 10 years ago, I had chickens. And the first time, I understood this, but we had chickens, they laid eggs, and I brought them in. I'm like, we have eggs. I guess we just eat them. I'd never had chickens before this. And we would have eggs every morning, a couple eggs every morning from the chickens, and it was awesome. And there are people who live in the world that she lives in. I have brought people to the castle, and we've got apple trees. The apples will be big enough you can eat them. I mean, you usually want to wait till they're ripe and, big, but you can eat them when they're a bit starchier and more tart. You got mulberries. I can't have those. I have allergic. We have wild blueberry. No, I'm sorry. Black raspberries. Sorry, I almost said blueberries. Black raspberries. And the wine berries are everywhere. We have wild blackberries. We have grapes everywhere. They're called frost grapes. They're itty bitty and they taste kind of funky. So I'm not a fan, but you can just grab them and eat them. You can just literally grab all the stuff. It's food. It's everywhere. The crazy thing to me is when people come here because, we bring out guests, we fly them out, we cover travel and accommodation for all our guests, and they're used to doing shows in cities. And in cities, there's no fruit and stuff everywhere. There's a good reason why there isn't. And so I get asked this frequently, like, did you plant these? You're asking me if the 300,000 grapes surrounding the property and vines growing on all of the trees, you're asking if I planted those? Yeah, do you plant them? No, they just are. This is nature. And then we get pawpaw season at towards the end of September, October. And they're pawpaws, if you don't know, they are green, mushy fruits. They're mushy when they're ripe, and they're really easy to eat. And people describe it as like avocado and mango combined with a little banana mixed in there. I also feel like it's got a little like of a bready kind of taste, but it's mushy, so it's not the texture you'd expect from like a bread, but it's getting a little smell like that. And you just walk up, pick it off the tree, rip it open, and just eat it. There's seeds in there, pull them out. And I get asked this frequently. Did you plant these? And I'm like, dude, this is the wilderness. And then I get people being like, I don't want to eat it. No, for real. I'll ride up. and there will be just like a row of wine berries. Like they're little red berries, they look like raspberries, and they're awesome. They're tart and they're delicious. And I'll just grab a handful and go wham, throw it right in my mouth, and they'll be like, "You can just eat them?" Well, yeah. What else do you eat? This may be shocking to many people, but in fact, that rabbit that's outside, you can eat that too. Now, don't rely on it. They're low in fat, and the lean meat's bad for you. It's what you'll experience what's called rabbit starvation if it's all you're eating. But the secret is to crack open the bones and boil the marrow out and mix it so the fat from the bones gets in with the meat, and you get a little bit more fat in your diet. I wouldn't. My understanding is that you'll still die, but that's how you do it. How you have rabbit. Now, rabbit, of course, is fine. What is it? What do they call it? Hassenpfeffer? Is that the German dish? I learned that from Looney Tunes. But there's also groundhogs, and there's deer everywhere. Every day I look out my window, there's like 7 or 8 deer just living in my lawn. And if we didn't live in the luxury of the modern world, I'd go start blasting, and then you wouldn't use handguns, but you start blasting, and then you go and eat it. You get, in modern era, you get permits and stuff, but we've got, I think out here we have a problem with too many deer because they're all kind of gaunt. And it causes problems. They get diseased and they starve. And yikes. And then we have vultures everywhere. But I think, the main reason I want to talk about this is, with all due respect to this young woman, it is very terrifying to me that there exists a generation of people that, should the economy collapse, will be standing in a concrete jungle. It smells like sour milk, being like, I am hungry. What do I eat? And what do you think they're going to eat? Now, I read a great story about the Donner Party? And many of them chose to starve to death instead of eating each other. It's a wild story. You should definitely read about it. And some of them just said, I don't want to die. And so the people who froze to death were perfectly preserved, and they were cooked and eaten. Others, refusing to eat a human, starved to death and became food. Was it the Donner Party, right? It's a wild story. It's a sad story. But this is the reality. These people only exist in this bubble. The luxuries of the internet age and this younger generation and feminism and all that exists in this bubble of security that the giants whose shoulders we stand upon have created this world for us, much to our own detriment. There's a lot more to talk about in it, but I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.